There is a quiet pattern moving through your life, repeating itself in ways that feel too familiar to be coincidence. The same kinds of people appear in different faces, the same disappointments arrive dressed in new opportunities, and the same emotional cycles seem to follow you no matter how far you try to move forward. It does not announce itself loudly. It hides in everyday moments, subtle, persistent, almost invisible, yet powerful enough to shape the direction of your entire life. Some people call it fate, others call it bad luck. But beneath those names lies something far more intimate, something far more unsettling. It is the possibility that life is not simply happening to you, but is responding to you. Not in a mystical, exaggerated sense, but in a deeply psychological and almost spiritual way that most people never pause long enough to notice. A silent interaction between your inner world and the external reality you experience. Across different cultures and philosophies, from the reflective teachings of ancient African wisdom to the disciplined introspection of Eastern thought, there has always been a recurring idea. The state of the mind shapes the quality of life, not because the universe bends to wishes, but because perception, belief, and behavior quietly organize the experiences that follow. It is a process so natural that it often feels supernatural. This is where the idea of positive attraction begins, not as a fantasy of effortless manifestation, but as a deeper understanding of how your thoughts, emotions, and identity influence the patterns that return to you. It is not about forcing outcomes or pretending everything is perfect. It is about recognizing that the way you see yourself in the world becomes the lens through which reality is filtered, interpreted, and ultimately lived. Divine psychology is not about religion or blind belief. It is about awareness. It is about stepping into a higher level of understanding where you begin to see the hidden connection between who you are internally and what keeps appearing externally. It is the realization that your life is not just a series of random events, but a reflection, sometimes distorted, sometimes clear, of the unseen patterns within you. And once you begin to see this pattern, truly see it, something shifts. The repetition no longer feels like punishment or coincidence. It begins to feel like a signal, one that has been there all along, waiting patiently for you to understand it. Positive attraction is often misunderstood as a mystical force that grants desires simply because they are imagined strongly enough. It is presented as a promise that thinking good thoughts will somehow pull success, love, and wealth into existence without resistance. But this version, although appealing, is incomplete. It strips away the deeper mechanism and replaces it with illusion, leaving many people confused when reality does not respond the way they expect. At its core, positive attraction is not about forcing reality to change. It is about understanding how your mind filters reality before you even experience it. Every moment, your brain is receiving more information than it can possibly process, and so it selects what to focus on. This selection is not random. It is guided by your beliefs, your expectations, and your internal narrative about who you are and what the world is like. Psychology calls this process selective attention. You begin to notice what already aligns with your inner state. When your mind is tuned to doubt, it detects obstacles. When your mind is tuned to possibility, it detects openings. The world itself may not have changed, but your awareness of it has. And that awareness shapes your decisions, your reactions, and ultimately your outcomes. Alongside this is confirmation bias, the tendency to interpret experiences in ways that reinforce what you already believe. If you carry the belief that people cannot be trusted, your mind will quietly collect evidence to support that belief, even when moments of trust exist. If you believe you are capable, your mind will highlight opportunities that reflect that capability. In both cases, reality begins to feel consistent, not because it is fixed, but because your perception is guiding your interpretation. This is the hidden structure behind attraction. You are not simply pulling events toward you through desire. You are participating in a loop where your inner world influences what you see, what you ignore, and how you respond. And over time, these small, almost invisible adjustments begin to shape the larger patterns of your life. What appears as attraction is often alignment. Not alignment with fantasy, but alignment between your internal state and your external experience. When these two begin to mirror each other, life feels almost orchestrated, as if something beyond you is at work. But in truth, it is the quiet intelligence of your own mind, organizing reality in ways you are only beginning to understand. Beneath every repeated experience lies something deeper than thought, deeper than momentary emotion. It is your self-image, the silent identity you carry about who you are, what you deserve, and what is possible for you. This self-image is not always spoken out loud, and most of the time it is not even consciously chosen. Yet it operates with quiet authority, guiding your behavior in ways that feel natural even when they limit you. From early experiences, the mind begins to form conclusions. A child who is repeatedly ignored may internalize the idea that their voice does not matter. Someone who is constantly criticized may grow into the belief that they are never quite enough. These ideas settle into the subconscious not as passing thoughts, but as internal truths. Over time, they become the foundation upon which decisions are made. Relationships are formed, and risks are either taken or avoided. This is where the self-image loop begins to reveal itself. What you believe about yourself influences how you behave. How you behave influences the results you experience, and those results reinforce the original belief. It is a cycle that feeds itself, strengthening over time, becoming more convincing with every repetition. The more it repeats, the more it feels like reality itself rather than a pattern that can be changed. Consider the individual who believes they are not worthy of success. When an opportunity appears, hesitation follows. That hesitation leads to inaction or half-hearted effort. The outcome falls short not because the opportunity was impossible, but because the belief quietly shaped the response. When the result confirms the failure, the belief deepens. It feels like proof, when in truth it is reinforcement of a loop that has been running unnoticed. Across different philosophical traditions, there is a shared understanding that identity precedes experience. In many African wisdom systems, the idea of inner alignment speaks to becoming before receiving. In Eastern philosophies, the concept of self-awareness emphasizes observing the identity that drives action. Though the language differs, the principle remains consistent. The life you experience is closely tied to the person you believe yourself to be. Positive attraction, in this sense, is not about wishing for change while holding on to the same identity. It is about recognizing that your self-image acts like a quiet architect, designing the structure of your experiences from within. And until that inner design shifts, the outer patterns will continue to rebuild themselves no matter how many times they are torn down. Emotions are often described as something you feel, something private and internal, existing only within your own experience. But in reality, emotions extend far beyond that. They influence your tone, your posture, your timing, your decisions, and even the way others respond to you. Long before words are spoken, emotions begin communicating on your behalf, shaping interactions in ways that are subtle yet deeply powerful. When people speak about energy, they are often trying to describe this invisible transmission. It is not mystical in the exaggerated sense, but it is not entirely mechanical either. It exists in the space between psychology and human connection. Your emotional state affects how you carry yourself, and others often unconsciously pick up on these cues. Confidence invites engagement. Anxiety invites distance. Calmness creates trust. Insecurity creates tension. These responses are not random. They are deeply rooted in how human beings are wired to perceive and react to one another. Scientific understanding supports this through concepts like emotional contagion and mirror neurons. Humans are naturally inclined to reflect and respond to the emotional states of others. When someone enters a room with quiet confidence, it subtly shifts the atmosphere. When someone carries doubt or fear, it also shifts the atmosphere, often without a single word being spoken. In this way, your emotions are not contained within you. They are expressed, received, and responded to continuously. This is where positive attraction takes on a more grounded meaning. It is not about pretending to feel good in order to attract outcomes. It is about recognizing that your emotional patterns influence your behavior, and your behavior influences how the world interacts with you. Someone who consistently feels unworthy may avoid eye contact, speak with hesitation, or withdraw from opportunities. These small signals shape how others respond, often reinforcing the very feeling that created them. Across philosophical traditions, emotions have always been seen as indicators of alignment or imbalance within the self. In many African and Eastern teachings, emotional awareness is not about suppression, but about understanding. To observe your emotional state is to gain insight into the internal patterns that are guiding your external experience. It becomes a form of awareness that allows you to respond consciously, rather than react automatically. In the framework of divine psychology, emotions are not enemies to control, nor are they forces to blindly follow. They are signals, indicators of your internal state, quietly influencing how you move through the world and how the world responds to you. And when these signals are understood rather than ignored, they begin to reveal the deeper connection between what you feel and what you experience. The idea of attraction becomes clearer when it is no longer viewed as something abstract, but as something lived out through behavior. Every thought you hold and every emotion you experience eventually translates into action, even if that action is small, delayed, or barely noticeable. These micro-actions repeated over time form habits, and those habits shape the results that define your reality. This is the behavioral attraction cycle, a continuous process where your internal state influences how you act, and how you act influences what you experience. It does not require dramatic decisions or life-changing moments to begin. It operates in the smallest choices, The hesitation before speaking, the decision to try or to withdraw, the effort you give or the effort you withhold. These moments may seem insignificant, but collectively they determine the direction your life takes. Psychology describes this as a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you expect a certain outcome, your behavior subtly adjusts to make that outcome more likely. Someone who expects rejection may approach conversations with guarded energy, limiting connection before it even begins. Someone who expects success may take more initiative, speak more clearly, and persist longer. In both cases, the outcome begins to reflect the expectation, not because the future was predetermined, but because behavior aligned with belief. Over time, this cycle creates patterns that feel almost inevitable. A person may say, "This always happens to me," without realizing that their internal expectations have been guiding their actions in ways that produce familiar results. The repetition strengthens the illusion of fate, making it harder to see the role of personal influence within the process. Yet beneath that repetition lies a consistent structure, one that can be understood and eventually reshaped. From a broader philosophical perspective, this cycle reflects a deeper truth about human existence. In many traditions, action is seen as the bridge between intention and reality. It is not enough to think or feel differently. Behavior must follow. The alignment between what you believe, what you feel, and what you do creates a coherence that shapes experience in a tangible way. Without that alignment, change remains theoretical. In the lens of divine psychology, attraction is not a force acting upon you from the outside. It is a cycle unfolding through you. Your thoughts set the direction, your emotions fuel the movement, and your actions bring the outcome into form. When these elements operate unconsciously, they create patterns that repeat. But when they become conscious, they offer something rare, the ability to interrupt the cycle and begin shaping it with intention. There is a dangerous side to the idea of attraction, one that is rarely discussed but deeply important to understand. It is the belief that everything that happens to a person is entirely their fault, that every hardship, every loss, every moment of pain was somehow attracted by their thoughts alone. This perspective, although often presented as empowering, can quickly become harmful, creating guilt where there should be understanding and blame where there should be clarity. Life is not built in isolation. Human beings exist within environments, cultures, histories, and systems that shape their experiences in ways that go far beyond individual thought. Circumstances such as poverty, conflict, trauma, and inequality are not simply the result of personal mindset. To ignore these realities is to oversimplify life and to misunderstand the complexity of human experience. Positive attraction does not erase these forces, nor does it give complete control over every outcome. There is also the trap of toxic positivity, the insistence that one must always remain optimistic regardless of reality. This creates a form of denial where difficult emotions are suppressed rather than understood. Pain, fear, and uncertainty are not signs of failure. They are part of the human condition. When ignored, they do not disappear. Instead, they move beneath the surface, continuing to influence behavior in unseen ways, often strengthening the very patterns one is trying to escape. Another hidden danger lies in passivity. When attraction is misunderstood, it can lead to inaction, the belief that thinking alone is enough to create change. But without behavior, without effort, without engagement with reality, nothing truly shifts. The cycle remains intact, repeating itself while the individual waits for transformation that never arrives. In this sense, belief without action becomes another form of limitation. Across global philosophies, there is a recurring balance between acceptance and agency. In African wisdom traditions, there is recognition of both destiny and responsibility. In Eastern thought, there is an understanding that while one cannot control everything, one can control their response. These perspectives do not deny external forces, nor do they deny personal influence. Instead, they hold both truths at once, creating a more grounded and realistic view of existence. The deeper truth of attraction lies here. You are not powerless, but you are also not all-powerful. You influence your reality through your perception, your emotion, and your behavior, but you do so within a world that has its own complexities and unpredictability. Understanding this balance removes illusion and replaces it with clarity. It allows growth without blame, awareness without guilt, and transformation without denial. Beyond patterns, beyond cycles, and beyond the illusions of control, there exists a higher level of understanding, one that does not rely on force, denial, or blind belief. This is where divine psychology begins. It is not about escaping reality, but about seeing it more clearly. It is the awareness that your inner world and outer experience are connected, and that within that connection lies the power to shift direction with intention. Divine psychology starts with observation, the ability to step back and watch your own thoughts, your reactions, your emotional patterns, without immediately identifying with them. In this space of awareness, something changes. You are no longer completely controlled by unconscious habits. You begin to notice the beliefs that have been guiding you, the emotions that have been shaping your behavior, and the patterns that have been repeating without question. Awareness becomes the first form of transformation. From this awareness comes choice. Not every thought needs to be followed. Not every emotion needs to dictate action. The mind, once observed, becomes something that can be guided rather than something that simply reacts. This is where intentional thinking begins, not forced positivity but conscious direction. Choosing perspectives that strengthen rather than weaken, that expand rather than limit, that align with the life you are capable of living. But awareness and thought alone are not enough. Alignment must extend into behavior. The identity you begin to build internally must be expressed externally through consistent action. This is where change becomes visible. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to move in the same direction, the patterns of your life begin to shift. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily as a new structure replaces the old. Across different philosophical traditions, this alignment has always been seen as a form of higher living. In African thought, it reflects harmony between the self and existence. In Eastern philosophy, it reflects balance between awareness and action. Though described differently, the principle remains the same. When the inner and outer self are aligned, life begins to move with a different rhythm. Less resistance, more clarity, more direction. Divine psychology is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming conscious of who you already are beneath the conditioning, beneath the fear, beneath the patterns that no longer serve you. It is the gradual shift from reacting to life unconsciously to participating in it deliberately. And in that shift, something powerful happens. The patterns that once repeated begin to loosen, and new possibilities begin to emerge. The effect of positive attraction, when understood at this level, is no longer mysterious. It becomes a reflection of alignment, awareness, and intentional living. Not perfect control, but meaningful influence. Not illusion, but clarity. And within that clarity lies the quiet realization that the life you experience is not separate from you. It is shaped in part by the person you choose to become. The patterns in your life were never random. They were signals. Subtle reflections of beliefs, emotions, and behaviors working together beneath your awareness. What once felt like coincidence begins to reveal itself as structure. Not a rigid structure that traps you, but a living one that responds, adapts, and evolves as you become more conscious of it. Positive attraction, in its true form, is not about controlling reality or escaping difficulty. It is about understanding your role within it. It is the quiet recognition that your perception shapes your experience, that your emotions influence your interactions, and that your actions reinforce the direction your life takes. When these elements remain unconscious, life feels repetitive. But when they become clear, life becomes something you can engage with more deliberately. There is no instant transformation here. No sudden moment where everything shifts overnight. What exists instead is something more powerful. Gradual awareness. The kind that allows you to pause before reacting, to question beliefs that once felt absolute, and to choose responses that align with who you are becoming, rather than who you have been conditioned to be. This is where real change begins, not in force, but in clarity. Across the world, from ancient traditions to modern psychology, the message has always pointed in the same direction. Awareness creates possibility. When you understand the connection between your inner state and your external experience, you begin to move differently. You speak differently. You respond differently. And over time, those differences reshape the patterns that once defined you. The effect of positive attraction is not something outside of you. It is something that moves through you, through your thoughts, your emotions, your identity, and your actions. And when these begin to align, life no longer feels like something that is simply happening. It begins to feel like something you are consciously participating in. If this shifted something in the way you see yourself, then you are already stepping into a different level of awareness. And that is exactly what this space is about. Welcome to the Behavior Lab, a place where we break down the hidden patterns behind human behavior, decode the psychology that shapes everyday life, and explore the deeper forces influencing how people think, act, and experience reality. This is not surface-level motivation. This is understanding. If you want to start seeing the patterns others miss, if you want to understand why people behave the way they do, including yourself, then this is where that journey begins. Subscribe, stay present, and step deeper into the lab. Because the more you understand behavior, the more you understand life itself.